Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 17 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Michelle. Hi Michelle! And she wants to know, at this point in the game, who would I like to see work together and who should they target? Well, I would love to see Johnny Mac team up with James and Meg. That is assuming that Becky goes home this week. And I would like them to take on the rest of the house, basically. Specifically, I'd love to see Vanessa go, but them damn Oz twins gotta be split up. Seriously, like, somebody needs to split them up immediately, because that is a solid group of 3. Come on, people. Alright, so let's talk about what's going on. They had the Power Veto competition yesterday, and it was a fan favorite OTEV, and the players were Liz, Johnny Mac, Becky, Austin, Meg, and Steve. So, we talked about this yesterday. Johnny Mac told the Oz twins before the competition that he was open to throwing it. He was out in the first round. It came down to him and Austin in the first round, the last 2 people to come back, and it sounds like Johnny Mac may have thrown it to Austin. That's crazy. So in the end, in the final round, it came down to Liz and Austin, and the winner was Liz. Oh my god. So the feeds come back. The Oz twins are super pumped because they want to keep nominations the same this week, and now they have the power to do that, and their target is Becky because they feel like they can work with Johnny Mac. Alright, so after the competition, Vanessa goes up to the HOH to talk to Austin and Liz. She's trying to cement that Becky is the one going home this week, and she's bringing out all this information that she didn't remember before, even though she's always talking about her amazing memory. So she's telling them when James was HOH, Becky was trying to make you guys his target instead of Shelly and Clay. Again, interesting how she suddenly remembers this and she can tell them about it. Also, she's like, Becky's playing all sides of the house, and in the words of Becky, wah, 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 wah. Yeah. So then Vanessa leaves, and Liz and Austin are like, wow, seems like she's really worried that she's going to be the backdoor target this week, and that's why she's sharing all this Becky stuff all of a sudden. Ding, ding, retweet. So then Vanessa and Steve are chatting in the have-not room. Vanessa's doing a little bit of probing here. Ooh. She wants to know if Steve talked about her with Johnny Mac. She wants to know what's going on with that Macster. So Steve is just like, well, Johnny Mac's just really frustrated right now, and he's upset that all of his friends are going home, and Vanessa's like, he should be frustrated. He's holding on to all this old crap from when Shelly and Clay were still here. Pot me kettle. I couldn't remember what I was going to say. I was going to say speak of the devil, but no. Seriously, Vanessa is like the queen of holding on to old crap. So Vanessa then wants to know, like, is their final 2 deal still good? She feels like, the hell? She feels like Steve might be getting a little too close to Johnny Mac, and she's worried that Steve would go to the final 2 with him instead of her. So he's like, no, like, our final 2 is still legit, like me and you to the end, yeah. So then they start talking about the next target, except neither of them want to name names. So, like, the conversation's not going anywhere, and it's, like, super awkward because it's like, why can't you say who you're going after? What's the deal? So then Vanessa leaves, and Steve starts talking to the cameras. You gotta love that. So he's talking about how he's really skeptical of Vanessa, but of course he's not gonna tell her that. He's not crazy. He's gonna keep playing the loyal minion so that she never evicts him. And he brings out this gem. He's like, Vanessa will never win in the final 2. She's got too much blood on her hands. He thinks that he could beat her in the end. What? Steve, what? Unless something crazy happens between now and the end for Steve, which it could, you never know. Unless it's a really bitter jury. How would Steve beat Vanessa in the final 2? Okay, so then the house guest got some alcohol last night. It wasn't much, but it still became a freaking loud house in there. Oh my god. Everyone was just like talking over each other. And then it was story time. So Austin was sharing these bouncer stories that no one was listening to, and then Becky was retelling her whole train story when she was living in Germany, and like, this is not the first time that we've heard this story, but like, she really went into detail this time, and I gotta say, like, it was horrific. it's amazing that she even survived that, and I've got so much respect for her for bouncing back from that. It's insane. And then James really lightened the mood when he told everyone about the time that he got eaten by a shark and he had to cut his way out. He was joking, of course, but it was nice comic relief. So then after that, the house guests played some pot ball for a little while. Seems to be their new favorite. And then it was time to get back to business. So Oz Twins and Steve were chatting up in the HOH room. Liz is like, Steve, I'm keeping the nominations the same this week. You can go ahead and let Johnny Mac know that, and also tell him he's got the votes to stay this week, so we're all good. So then they were going on to talk about how they feel better about Johnny Mac now that he's had his attitude adjustment. Like, he's coming up to talk to them, he's saying that he trusts them, and, hello, he agreed before the Power Veto competition to throw it to them. And also, it doesn't hurt that he is hardcore gunning for Vanessa, because they want somebody to be in the game to take her out for them. They don't want to have to do it. So then Steve checks in with Johnny Mac. He lets him know, like, you're doing a great job with the new attitude. Keep up the good work. They're loving it. And then he's like, yeah, they also told me you have the votes this week, so you can just, like, chill out and relax. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a ton of campaigning this week with Becky and Johnny Mac, but then again, it's still early. We haven't even had the Power Veto ceremony yet, so you never know. But I don't know if I see them campaigning against each other. And then Steve has a new suggestion for Johnny Mac now that he's got his attitude in order. He wants John to work on rebuilding his relationship with Vanessa. He's like, I know you don't like her and I know you want her out, but I really think that you guys should, like, you know, be nice to each other, because, like, what if Vanessa wins HOH? You want to be on her good side, so there's that. So then it was Meg's turn up in the HOH with the Oz Twins, and Meg is like, yeah, Becky's handling this whole thing really well. She's, you know, optimistic that she still has this chance to come back into the game, so she's excited about that, blah, 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 blah. And then the conversation shifts to Johnny Mac, and Austin is like, guess what? Before the veto, Johnny Mac agreed to throw it to us, and Meg is just like, what? He must feel really safe. He must. Or maybe he's just, like, over it. I could see that, too. But anyway, then they were talking about who should go home this week, and they were kind of saying, like, either way, it could be good, so is it, though? Austin was definitely then pushing for Becky to go this week, even though he was like, it doesn't really matter, but Becky should go. Well, I mean, it doesn't, Becky should go. So then he was saying, like, we can work with Johnny Mac. Look how he just agreed to throw this competition. He followed through, possibly. So he's willing to work with us. And Becky, but, you know, Austin's saying that, but Meg and James have to be thinking, like, they're so much closer to Becky than they are to Johnny Mac. And Johnny Mac is going to be more loyal, it seems like, at least to them probably, to the Oz Twins than to them. So, I don't know, kind of mixed signals there. But then Johnny Mac and Vanessa, meanwhile, were bonding a bit in the the have-not room. Some chit-chat about real life outside of the house. And it looks like Johnny Mac could be following Steve's advice, trying to get closer to Vanessa again. So last night was a very arts and craftsy / prank night. The house guests made some more foil figures, lots of swords that looked like penises, and there were a couple of chocolate in the bed incidents. So the twins were, like, spelling out things in James's bed. Things like, we hate you, we still hate you, things like that. And then Steve thought it would be fun to put chocolate under the fitted sheet in Julia's bed. Don't worry, like, all the candy was wrapped, but still, what is going on with the chocolate in the bed? You gotta hope that doesn't melt, because that would be scary, and you know what chocolate looks like when it's melted. So then, early this morning, Steve was talking to the cameras. Not only does he feel like he can beat Vanessa in the end, he feels like he can also beat Johnny Mac. Okay, and also, he wants to get closer to Meg because he thinks she's going to be around for a long time. She could have already won second place. She is like the perfect goat to take to the final two, so he wants to make sure he's good with her. He's got to smooth things over after he put her up during the double eviction. So this morning, the house guests got to enjoy some cinnamon rolls. House guests meaning not the have-nots though. And they were voted on by the live feeders, so yay, live feeders. Send me some cinnamon rolls, they look so good, oh my god. So other than that, it was kind of a slow day. Vanessa was campaigning to the twins for Becky to go, of course, and then she brings up plans for next week. She's thinking they should go after the other side, meaning James and Meg. She's trying to say, like, we don't need to get rid of Johnny Mac right now, we can control him. There's really no need for us to go after him when we can go after James and Meg. So that's pretty interesting. And then, because I mean, like, Johnny Mac can't stand Vanessa. And she's saying, like, they shouldn't go after him. It's pretty wild. But then a funny thing happened on the way to Forum. Julia was scolding Liz for those hickeys from Austin. Apparently there's a new one. She's like, oh my god, Liz, this is so immature, and this is on national television. And Liz is like, I know. But she tells Julia she actually does like Austin now. So Julia agrees that he's a good guy. Oh my god, I never thought I'd hear her say that. But she says the hickeys make her look like a slut. Oh my god, yeah, she said that. Those are not my words. Oh, snap. But then Austin comes over. They lay down the law with him. They're like, bro, this needs to stop. And he's like, I know, I'm sorry. So he agrees not to do that again. But anyway, just a little fun twin exchange. We get those every once in a while. So back to the game. The power veto ceremony should be tomorrow. Liz is not planning on using the POV, but you never know. Anything could happen between now and tomorrow morning. So make sure you guys tune in. And until tomorrow, much love.
Edit.